Hey everyone, it's Derek, and it is way too early for this. Now, for most people, a trip home from London to Vancouver means a pretty simple direct flight, but I was bored and desperately needed content, so that isn't quite the plan. Today, I'll be flying to Geneva and then on to Munich, with both flights operated by Swiss's decently new A220. After saying goodbye to our fantastic Airbnb, it was just over an hour on the tube until I was rolling up to Terminal 2 at London Heathrow. Time to put Canadian engineering to the test. My first leg today is going to be down to Geneva on the bigger Bombardier A220-300 variant, and then the trip on to Munich will be on the smaller Dash 100 model. Now, some of you may have already watched my Air Canada A2 CSeries trip report. That was actually filmed after this one, so at the time this was my first time trying out the new plane. After spending some time in the beautiful new Terminal 2 at London, it was time to board. Now, the economy cabin on the A220 is designed for 2-3 seating, which basically means that there are no middle seats on the left side of the plane. I actually ended up with the whole row to myself, so this wasn't an issue anyway. I will say these seats are quite thin and the legroom is pretty tight, which, along with a small armrest, would definitely start to get rough after a couple hours. Other than that though, especially for a regional jet, this cabin is a masterpiece. The seats are sculpted to give you the most legroom possible, and they're also incredibly wide at 18.5 inches. I freaking love this metallic chrome trim, especially with the built-in coat hooks. The table wasn't huge, but seemed decent and sturdy. And these cute little screens up here show the safety video and the map. Unlike Delta and Air Canada, Swiss unfortunately didn't install seatback TV or have Wi-Fi on board, or even power outlets, which means that any entertainment you want to have needs to be charged and brought on board with you. I ended up spending most of the flight looking out the window anyway. As I said, it was a pretty empty flight today, so it wasn't long before we were pushing back and making our way out to 27 right.
For safety reasons, please make sure that mobile phones...
Wir danken für Ihre Aufmerksamkeit.
Here's a quick look at the buy on board menu Swiss offers for food and drinks. Unfortunately, the only free beverage service on the flight was for water, so anything you want you have to buy from here. Pro tip, Terminal 2 at Heathrow has some amazing food options, so bring food on board with you like I did if you're leaving from London. Now, I wanted to take this opportunity to talk a little bit about the crew. For all my Swiss flights, the crew went absolutely above and beyond. In spite of the limited service, they still made frequent passes through the cabin to check in and see if anyone needed anything. Noticing my taking pictures, one of the flight attendants actually offered to take my camera up to the cockpit to take some pictures, which was such a personal and incredible level of service, especially in economy. Big props to Swiss for that. The one food item they did serve us, of course, was the iconic Swiss chocolate, which was a nice little snack before we landed. One of the major selling points of the Bomberbus CA2 series is how quiet it is, and I have to say it's absolutely incredible how little noise it makes. For a plane that basically competes with Embraers, it's insanely quiet, especially on takeoff and cruise. I will say I started to notice some vibrations and noise when the plane started to descend, but other than that, it was basically silent. And a few minutes later, we were starting our descent into Geneva. The scenery here, surrounded by the lake and mountains, is nothing short of breathtaking.
Bienvenue à Genève, vos couillons de rester attachés jusqu'à l'extinction du signal correspondant. Do not please keep your seatbelt fastened until respective cabin sign have been turned off.
Cabin crew is on the slides.
After taking the bus from our remote-ish gate to the terminal, we went through customs and then we were out. I spent a quick layover here taking some pictures and then busing into city center before hopping on the train back to the airport for flight number 2. After all this running around, my phone was running super low on batteries, which is where the whole no USB or power outlets installed thing really started to get annoying. I managed to charge it for a bit though in the airport, enough at least to take some videos for the second flight. So right now I'm in the smaller of the two planes, the A220-100. For the most part, other than the size difference, they're absolutely identical inside. For this flight, I'm sitting on the left side, which if you'll remember is only a 2-seat row. Unfortunately though, there was someone sitting next to me for this flight, which is where the extra wide seats really come in handy. I was getting pretty warm in the afternoon sun, so I was happy when we finally started our engines and taxied out for takeoff.
Good afternoon and welcome aboard our Swiss and Starline service to Munich. Meine Damen und Herren, guten Tag und auch im Namen der Kabinenbesatzung herzlich willkommen auf unserem Swiss and Starlines Flug.
You are obliged to have your seatbelt fastened whenever you are seated. Designated escape pod markings and leave all your hand luggage behind. The emergency. Strap until the life jacket is properly adjusted. The safety on board card shows the various procedures and the use and location.
getrunken haben oder das Anstartzeichen eingeschaltet ist. Bitte öffnen Sie die Gepäckablagen vorsichtig, da Gegenstände herausfallen könnten.
Weirdly enough, even though the second flight was way shorter at less than 45 minutes, they served snacks to all passengers on this flight. It was just a small sandwich, but it tasted delicious, especially with another classic Swiss chocolate. After flying over Zurich, we started our descent for a stunning evening arrival into Munich from the west. Now, some final thoughts on the Swiss Bombardier Bus AC220 series. Complete game changer. The seats were a little thin and a little tight, but in comparison to other regional jets, it's far superior, especially when you consider just how wide that 18+ inch seat width really is. The crew were exceptionally friendly, and even though the economy amenities were lacking, for such short flights it wasn't an issue. It's a beautiful, quiet, and modern plane, and I have to give kudos again to the entire Bombardier team for designing such a fantastic aircraft. It was a pleasure to fly. Thanks as always for watching. Don't forget to drop a like and let me know what you thought in the comments below. Looking forward to getting a few more videos out to you in the next couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. Hope everyone is keeping safe and looking forward to being able to safely take to the skies once again soon. Catch you all later.